Time for controversy.
Oh
Everybody
boy, we need a little controversy because
Get
it feels so empty without me.
Eminem is coming up a lot in the drone world recently. All right. So a drone has quote unquote attacked. They say likely drone attack on the U.S. electrical grid, aka a small substation. And basically, what happened is just a quick summary: some guy flew a Mavic drone that he had ripped the camera off, serial number off, and SD card out of, manually, clearly piloted because there was no camera. That he basically manually piloted that into a substation, though they found it outside of the substation, but it was in the vicinity. It had crashed on the way in. And then it basically had a piece of copper wire hanging from two pieces of twine under it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying this was an attack on the U.S. electrical system, electrical grid, and the FBI is calling this all kinds of
drone-related terrorism.
Yeah, drone-related terrorism. Yeah. I think most of us who've flown a drone know there could be 100 different options or reasons this could happen. However, it is strange that, why are you flying it with no camera? That's a little odd.
Yeah, the first thing I saw was people saying, I think it was a drone retrieval attempt. And as tempting as it is to just say, oh, those guys are dumb and overreacting, I mean, I think that argument is... I think that's the evidence may not support that. Of course, we're being shown the evidence that they want us to see. We don't know if there's other evidence, but it's also worth pointing out that any other evidence they might have might support their story, and they're just not telling it for whatever reasons. So whether you believe this or not, I mean, flying. Why would you have a Mavic with no camera, no serial number?
Yeah,
it's just that's your drone retrieval rig. Actually, that makes some sense. If you had a drone retrieval rig, you might lose it too, so you wouldn't want it to have a serial number. But it would have a camera.
Sure. Yeah, I think, the camera is kind of important for that. I mean, you can LOS, but most of the time when you lose a drone, it's somewhere you can't see, and you're trying to retrieve something you can't see. So, it's really weird. There's a copper wire at the bottom, so obviously, that's pretty strange. But, I don't know. It could be to me, this just seems like, hey, some random people are fucking around at the substation. But everything... like this becomes, hey, it's an attack, because what's the goal of this if this is an attack, right?
Well, yeah,
what are you actually doing?
Hello FPV points out that copper wire would just burn in half and have no real effect. The point is not that whether the attack was, I mean, obviously it would be worse if there was an attack and it was likely to cause a huge catastrophe and almost succeeded. That's worse than if there was an attack that failed and wouldn't have done anything bad in the first place. But either way, someone is trying to... I hesitate to even call it an attack. I think there's a fair chance it's just some dumbass who got up to some BS.
I think it's people fucking around. Yeah.
But Mads Tech thinks someone bought a drone, it was broken, and they just decided to try and blow the drone. He thinks the drone was the target, not the substation.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think most people saying hey, this is way more voltage and amperage than any, nothing's actually going to happen from this. And I don't know. My initial thought was if this is an attack, how does that work? What is, what is happening to make that?
Hang on, Blunty. We've disconnected for some reason. I don't know why. I'm still talking to you. Hang on, Blunty. Weird? It's coming back. It just came back. The government doesn't want us talking about this, Blunty. I just had a glitch in the live stream. Let's make sure that everybody is back. Oh, I think we're back.
All right, it's back.
Yeah, it just said reconnecting for a second. Damn it. See? You talk about this, the government tries to shut you down, Blunty. The takeaway, I think, is that the significant takeaway is not related to this specific incident, but the government's belief that drones can be used as a threat, which is not entirely unfounded, which should also not be read as me supporting all their overreach and overregulation. But when the government says drones are a threat and can be used to do bad things, they aren't wrong.
Yeah, no, it's 100% correct. It's just it's just annoying because this is the bad headlines we talk about. If there's going to be bad headlines that affect anything, it's going to be a headline like this because it's put out by a federal government like agency. Like the FBI has released a report, and now ABC's got it, and it's spreading around. CNN did a story. So these are the kind of stories that people will actually hear. And the problem is the headline isn't like, there's no interpretation because the FBI called it an attack. So now
the news is just going to repeat what the FBI says, because drone attacks power grid is a statement that they have to decide how to interpret the incident. But if they just say FBI claims drone attack, then now they're off the hook and they've got their headline.
Here, one thing I'll say is like, and this is a couple of people are like, Pacific Northwest says it was the feds who flew it in. Yeah, but wouldn't they have used something that would have actually done something? Like that's what I always think is like, if you were going to false flag this or whatever people are going to say, you would just actually do it with a real thing that would hurt something. So then you can go, a drone attacked a substation and blew it up. Holy shit, we got to lock this shit down,
Charles says the story's fishy. Believe nothing of what you hear. And if you assume that's true, you can still take away from this story that the FBI is willing to go public and say a drone attacked a power station, which is a thing that has implications in and of itself, whatever you believe about the attack. So,
also just to bring it up, I did dig for this, and asked other people about it and dug. But this story, this report does not appear to have been public. It appears to have been given privately to ABC, and then they released like a small section of that report. Yeah, I wanted to go in. Well, I think they put it out, and then part of it got out to other people. But I was hoping to get that report so we could do what you're talking about. Like, let's go look at what the actual report said, so we can at least see the FBI spin, not FBI plus news and everybody talking about it spin. So.
Yeah, it's why I hesitate to. I mean, this is a situation where you don't know what you don't know, and I don't want to give law enforcement or the government the benefit of the doubt and say, well, they're probably telling the truth, because we know that a lot of time they don't. But at the same time, I don't want to just be like, they're so full of it. They're making this up, because I am aware of situations where there was additional evidence that was withheld for security reasons or investigatory reasons. And they say, this thing happened and it was an attack. And what they're not telling you is, there was another drone nearby that was loaded with C4 or whatever.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
ABC specifically said it was heavily redacted, I think.
Right.
So, they only got small bits. So.
Anyway, there's lots of threats out there in the world. Drones are not the only one. Bad people will do bad things with whatever they can accomplish their ends, and drones are one of those things. So there you go.